Official, unofficial, Hiller Fit, Hiller YouTube Rogues Gallery of Villains. We're going to get right into it and start with number 5. Number 5 villain is David Hippensteel. He is the ultimate no-repper. Double knee sleeves. Triple knee sleeves. Quadruple knee sleeves. He wears gloves, doesn't lock it out, doesn't hit depth. Every no-rep crime that's possible to commit, David Hippensteel has committed. His real-life counterpart is Dr. Octopus, because he's a dentist, which we all know isn't quite as prestigious as a doctor, but it's the closest I could find. Just like Doc Ock has metal arms that are fused, he's got fused metallic-like elbows, and that's why you are Dr. Octopus. Very neat little villain arc here. You've got the first 3 videos, which were Age Group Qualifier, Part 1, 2, and 3. Age Group Qualifier, Hippensteel's response, and Hippensteel removed from those qualifiers. That first appearance is April 24th, 2022. And then after that, you've got this ridiculous piece by the Morning Chalk Up defending him. Are they the professional victim defenders? Because I just thought of the whole Kale thing, right? Like they came out and let Kale Lehman tell his story and didn't question anything. We won't let the mean CrossFit Batman hurt you anymore. Anyway, this ridiculous piece about Hippensteel calls him Rich Froning.
He is no different in my mind than a Rich Froning or a Matt Frazier.
That is so offensive, Chris Henshaw, that you're on Keeping Your Reels villain list. Number 10. I just started one, Chris, because you're crazy. And it's not just that. You did the lake thing, too.
It is such a safe event.
Too warm. I've heard the water's too warm, actually.
Please. It's not that hot. No. Temperature is the biggest risk in swimming. And it was shocking. If that water temperature was 15 degrees cooler, it'd be completely different.
You say one thing to one crowd, another thing to another crowd, and you called Hippensteel Froning. And that is...
This is true. This is blasphemous.
I'm back. Sorry. After that, you've got Hippensteel grabs my stick. This was at the CrossFit Games where Hippensteel grabbed Hiller's stick while live on Savan. It was crazy.
Come on, guys.
You are live on the Savan podcast. You are now live.
His video stick. I guess this would actually be 8 videos because we finally have the redemption video in which Andrew Hiller goes to Hippensteel's house. And all I can say about that is how could you not love a guy who's literally got rings hanging from his ceiling on his staircase where if you fall, you die because the guy's 75 years old.
He has a 5-year plan.
What is it? Don't die?
And it was the only place where they had a high enough ceiling.
There's hope for redemption, villains, and David Hippensteel is proof. I'm looking at you, Kale. On to number 4, and man, does it get better and better, because we've got Dani Spiegel.
Oh yeah, and I block them if they ever come up. I block Dani Spiegel.
Now, the rumor about Dani Spiegel is that she might have got Hiller Fit 1.0 on Instagram shut down. It's between Bryce and Dani. Famous quote. Tell me you have small legs without telling me that you have small legs.
The whole squat depth thing. And it's all right, tell me you have small legs without telling me you have small legs.
First appearance, March 25th, 2022. Your move, CrossFit. Dani Spiegel uploads unvalid video. Number of appearances, 20 on Instagram. That's tied with High Rocks Wall Balls. She has 13 videos on the Hiller Fit YouTube channel. This is between his live videos and his regular videos. Her real-life villainous counterpart is somebody called Giganta, because Giganta looks like she could squat about 600 pounds, and she's the only villain I could find that would fit. And Giganta looks like she would wear a shirt that says Girls That Eat. The place that we left it off was a tense meeting at NorCal about a year ago in which there was some footage of Dani and Hiller talking, which shows that Hiller is willing to go to these people that he has absolutely slammed, rightfully so in a lot of cases, and try to talk about it. We're just going to have fun with it. We're going to move on and go to number 3. Try to keep this short and sweet. Will you be at the games this coming week? If so, I have free samples of Thirdsy as well as t-shirts in medium, large, and extra large. Come find me or go on Instagram and respond to my stories. I will put the link in the description as well. 20% off now with code KIR. That's thirdsy.com /KIR. Will also pull up my page. Now, number 3 was going to be HQ overall, but I've narrowed it down to just Don Fowl. And I've done some research on you, Don. I've built a model with ChatGPT, an in-depth model with all the information that I could find on Don Fowl. And if we take the presupposition that we are living in some sort of simulation or a world in which not everyone is human and there's artificial intelligence and all that stuff, then the chances of Don Fowl being not real, not human, like Skylar Johnson are. First, let's go over some of the facts. Factors that might increase the chance of Don Fowl being non-human. Military background, linked to structured, optimized behavior, very robot-esque. The corporate to fitness pivot may suggest a program directive rather than personal passion. Rare emotional volatility. Public persona shows consistent tone and response, like someone avoiding glitches. CrossFit PR mode. His role often involves diplomatic responses, avoiding extremes, always staying on script. But what really tipped this over the edge was one of Hiller's videos. Now, first, before I gave it that information, the probability estimation in this setting in which there are people who are non-human, Don Fowl exhibits 5 of 10 non-human behavioral markers, and the total in this world is a 6% chance that Don Fowl is non-human. But I hadn't given it the famous quotes associated with Don Fowl, and that changed everything. Number of appearances in the Hiller canon: 3 on Instagram, 7 at least on YouTube. There are many more about HQ in which he may have been spoken of, but these are the ones with his face on the cover or that are primarily about him. Villainous counterpart in real life is going to be Agent Smith from The Matrix, because he isn't real either. Oh, you know what? He could be Lumberg too, couldn't he?
I'm gonna need you to go ahead and come in tomorrow.
Famous quote.
To work really quickly. We are also, in service of this, making sure that we are moving forward for next year's sports season.
Once I plugged in the fact that Don Fowl said 144 times in 21 minutes, as Andrew Hiller so astutely pointed out to us in one of his videos, everything changed. That's one every 9.2 seconds. That's not just a quirk. That's either a severe executive level speech malfunction or an AI-generated speech pattern gone rogue, trying to mimic human uncertainty without fine-tuned parameters. He's not even a good robot. He needs to be retuned. After those adjustments, there is a 20% chance that Don Fowl is not human and is actually a robot. I bet Don Fowl likes pie. He looks like a pie guy. The crimes of Don Fowl are that his leadership has essentially been non-existent. Where is he? Where has he been? He also made a critical mistake. 2 of them, actually. One of them, that his goal was to have 30 million people doing CrossFit by like 2026 or 20, something ridiculous. Some ridiculous number that he had absolutely no way of defending. Wasted years of our lives being at the helm of HQ, and he's not going to be there in about 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 1 week, whenever. He's not going to be there. I hope not, because he probably won't like me if he sees this. See you at the games, Don. The other major crime is actually the huge error of him talking about how there would be full transparency regarding the investigation of the CrossFit Games, and yet he made the blunder of telling everybody there would be transparency when obviously, as soon as he said they weren't going to release the report, it was such easy fodder for any athletes who are boycotting, for any media folks that are coming at CrossFit HQ. He just teed everybody up to absolutely flame HQ. That's a huge mistake. He's like a guy who's trying to act like a leader. If you've ever worked a corporate job like me, there's somebody who tries to act like a leader, but isn't actually a leader. It's not in them. They've watched everybody else be a leader, and now they're just trying to sort of copy, but they don't know how to actually lead. They're not the type of person that gets people alongside them to go with them. They're not the type of person who picks up a shovel and starts digging the dirt with you. There's nothing wrong with not being a leader. Not everybody can be a leader, but it's not good when you have people who are just pretending to be leaders. And it seems like that's what Don Fowl is. Number 2, Brian Friend.
Take me home to the place
Do you guys cover the island games in Malta? Have you ever seen the CrossFitters of Uruguay compete? Who's going to cover CrossFit in Estonia or Zimbabwe? Those athletes matter too. Weapon of choice, the gimbal.
With a pencil.
Or the frisbee. Take your pick. Number of appearances, 2. But boy, do they count. Because the first video is the least friendly man in fitness. March 20th, 2024. A 50-minute epic saga. This is the equivalent of Lord of the Rings on the Hiller Fit channel. I called it Hiller Fit again. I don't even know what the channel name is. Is it Andrew Hiller or is it Hiller Fit? I'm a bad Robin. This is possibly the longest villain takedown of all time on the Andrew Hiller channel. And the thing about it is that everything that would be considered an opinion essentially had to be taken as fact because of how many receipts that he brought with him. Literal text messages in which you could see certain behavioral patterns and whatnot that he would talk about when he would then go into more details about the types of things that Brian did. Now, I believe in redemption, so maybe it's the type of things that he did and not that he's doing. Oh, wait, there's that second video. Least Friendly Man in Fitness Part 2. That came out like a month ago, 2 months ago. Guess he's still doing it. Number of Instagram appearances is 14. Famous quote is very recent. He might have had some quotes in the past, but of course is this true?
This is true. This is blasphemous.
Brian, do you realize that blasphemy means great disrespect towards God? Real life counterpart is Rupert Thorne. And the reason that I pick Rupert Thorne is because Rupert Thorne was sort of a wannabe gangster. You've probably never heard of him, have you? He's from Batman. You've heard of the Penguin. Probably heard of Carmine Falcone. But not many people have heard of Rupert Thorne. Now, Rupert Thorne always wanted to be a mob boss, a Godfather type. But he could never pull it off. He was just a lackey. And from Hiller's video, what he talks about is how Brian's always trying to take control and be the Godfather. And essentially, I think it was painted that Savan is the Godfather. He's the one in which everything is organized around, and you just get in orbit and find your part, and everybody can thrive. But he wanted to be in charge, as well as always wanting money for stuff. Who asked for money to go on Rich Froning's podcast? If Rich Froning wants you on a podcast, you just go on the podcast. It's Froning. I like buffaloes. I want a buffalo farm. Anyway, he was in the famed locker room group, which is a text chat thread. It's been a group in which they've been helping support each other in the CrossFit media space. Really tight-knit group, and trust is the most important thing there. And from what I know of, 2 people have been kicked out, Mike Halpin and Brian Friend. Now, in addition to the locker room stuff and the personality accusations, we'll call them, of being manipulative and crossing them in all these various different ways, things that happen personally that I wouldn't really know about, there are things that we can all see. And one of them being that he, of course, has called for Castro's head, essentially, over the CrossFit Games and swore off participating in the CrossFit Games season. And yet, as it goes on, we've seen he's been involved in semifinals, said he'd never show up at an event where Castro was there, and he showed up at an event where Castro was there, and now he's even talking about the games a little bit. It's kind of a consistent theme with many people who boycotted CrossFit and said they'd have nothing to do with it. I've seen a little bit of this from Mike Halpin too, as well as Talking Elite Fitness. They say horrible things about him and they're ready to absolutely burn them to the ground, but then come game season, it's good content and you start talking about it for content. That's not how it works. You guys have the WFP for that. Yeah, honestly, you should cover that because you're paid by them. The moment we've all been waiting for. The number one villain of all time. I thought it was her. Sporty Beth. Real life villainous counterpart. I can't think of anyone. Who do you guys think it would be? Real life villain. Sporty Beth. Villain. Well, we're just going to go with the Joker because, of course, Andrew is CrossFit Batman and Sporty Beth is his arch nemesis. She is his Joker. As the clip says, they are destined to do this forever.
I think you and I are destined to do this forever.
Number of Instagram appearances is 14, and an interesting fact about this is that most of them are in Hiller Fit 4.0. Now, I didn't look into this. Maybe it's because he can tag her on those. He's not blocked. Or it could just be because she tries to sue everyone and give copyright strikes. He doesn't want to risk her seeing it on his main account. Number of YouTube videos, 13. First appearance, I believe, is March 13th, 2022. The beef with Sporty Beth is essentially that it doesn't matter what you look like. You can still be huge and be fit, which simply isn't true. She says that CrossFit basically broke her down and she had an eating disorder and all these various different things. And now she has a baby and does high rocks. She can't do strict pull-ups anymore. She says it's all fine, that she's fit, even though she's put on like 100, 150 pounds, and she's got people eating this up. There are people out there who will look for validation so that they don't have to do hard work. Some sort of reason to say I can stay the way I am and still be fit, that this isn't unhealthy, that this isn't unsafe. And it's just not true. She made a big thing about doing a high rocks race. And when she did CrossFit, her high rocks time was 30 minutes faster than when she didn't do CrossFit. I think she might even sell workouts for people. I'm not 100% sure, like strict pull-up programs and all these various different things, which just adds another level of ridiculousness. She's a huge proponent of calling every guy a misogynist, and she's probably the most dangerous villain because she has a platform and she preaches something that is delusional. You can basically be fat and still healthy, and that's simply not true. We know that cardiovascular health is one of the most leading indicators of your life expectancy and your health. She's a walking, breathing Reddit. She's Reddit personified. They're number 7, I think, on the other list. When somebody is preaching something dangerous, sometimes mockery is a valid form of critique. When you are as ridiculous as to say you can put on 100, you can be like 300 pounds and lose all this fitness, and you're totally fine and totally healthy, and people are actually buying that, there's nothing left to do but to mock you. But I want to make it clear that I would rather her be healthy. If I had to guess, I would say Andrew would too. There's always going to be people to make content about. There's always going to be another villain out there preaching something that's dangerous. I don't wish any ill on her, but she is a villain, and she is the number 1 villain. She's the Joker. Sporty Beth, you are an absolute menace. And honestly, I feel bad for your stuffed narwhal. There has never been a plush toy as unlucky as the stuffed narwhal on your bookshelf, who lives there and has to listen to you, not only during the podcasts, like us if we listen, but the rest of the time too. The only break that narwhal gets is when you're sleeping. We can only hope that poor gosh darn narwhal is deaf.
This is the first time in my life I'm glad I'm deaf.
Oh gosh, I hope it's deaf. I'm going to start a GoFundMe campaign to save the narwhal. Sporty Beth is number 1 on the Hiller YouTube channel. She is his Joker, number 1 villain of all time. But there's room for you guys to move up if you want to. And there's room for you to redeem yourself like David Hippensteel. Whew, that was tiring. Get your freaking act together, people.